Well, hello there. My name is Bob Biega. I am your instructor for MAT 126. This class is called Technical Algebra with Trigonometry. It is mainly for students in certain programs, electricians, electronics, industrial maintenance, but some other students do take it because it is also a prereq for college algebra. Now, I'm not trying to scare you off or make you drop or anything, but I'm just going to let you know right up front when these technical math classes, oftentimes there's terminology that they use in the programs that you may not be familiar with. Doesn't mean you can't do the math, doesn't mean you can't be successful. But sometimes when you start talking about watts and ohms and kilowatts and megawatts and gigawatts and things like that, if you're not somewhat familiar with it, it can be intimidating. So I just want you to know up front that, if you are taking this course as your prereq for college algebra, just be prepared. The math can be done whether you know anything about these programs or not, but it's the terminology sometimes that throws students off. Okay. So, this is my intro. I also have another video that gives you a tour of the class. I highly suggest you watch that because, I show you where everything is. I show you how to access stuff. I show you, important areas, go over topics, go over the syllabus, things like that. So I think it's very vital. I try to keep it under 20 minutes, and it's where it'll be worth your time because that way you're not spending 20 minutes looking for stuff. So please watch it. That being said, once you get into the class, you'll see what I'm talking about as far as due dates, how we proceed. Don't procrastinate. It's very easy to procrastinate in an online class such as mine because I don't have stuff due every 2 days. I think people take online so maybe they can do stuff on the weekends or maybe, one night a week. So, I do give a little leeway for these due dates, but you need to pay attention to them because if you wait to try to do everything in one night, then it's hard to be successful. Okay. So that's one thing. Another thing is, you're going to have exams. You're going to have one proctored test. It's the final exam. Make sure that you understand that must be proctored, and you also understand you have to pass it to pass the class. Doesn't matter what your average is. So this is the first time you're going to hear that, and you'll hear it about 10 other times, and then you'll say, I didn't know that. Someone will say, not most y'all will know, but someone will say, well, I didn't know we had to pass final. So please read your email, pay attention to your due dates because I do try to communicate often, not every day because I don't want to be a nag, but I do try to touch base. And the only way to communicate in an online class is from email. So if you don't check your email, how are we supposed to communicate? Let's think about it. So please check your email. If you don't get an email from me in a week or two, then check your junk or your clutter, or make sure your inbox isn't full. Okay, so make sure you clean that out because I will send stuff out. I send out reminders for due dates, stuff like that. So, do your own work. That's another thing I want to talk about. If you get help, that's fine, but don't rely on the help because what happens is, you rely on this help, whether it be from people, whether it be from apps, whether it be from websites, and then you go take the final, and you know what you don't get on the final? You don't get to use your apps, you don't get to use your websites, you don't get to use your buddy. And then all of a sudden, you don't know what you're doing. So use those 3 things I talked about to help you learn, not to help you get A's. Because you can make A's on everything, and if you flunk the final, it doesn't matter. Okay? So your whole goal is to prepare for this final. I'm telling you. It's to learn the stuff, obviously. That's the obvious goal. But another goal is to prepare yourself for the final. So you should, as much as possible, do like tests and reviews without, extra help because you don't get that on the final. Okay? So, be wary of that. I've seen people make 95, 95, hundreds, and then they make a 30 on the final. That's not anxiety, okay? that is, you're not truly prepared for your work. Okay, so that's just what I want to say about that. Not accusing you, not assuming stuff. It's just when I see that, it makes me wonder. Okay, so that's one thing. Do your own work. If you got questions, you get stuck on stuff, email me. I'll show you stuff in the class, ways to contact me within a question itself. Try to be specific as to what you're having trouble with. If you just say, I don't get it, well, that means you hadn't tried it. Okay. So try it. If you really get stuck or something's not making sense, email me. Rounding is a big issue. You may laugh because that's fourth grade, but some of us forget how to round. So make sure you're rounding correctly. All right. No tenths place, hundredths place, thousands place, that stuff. So round correctly. Sometimes they use significant digits. That's something that they'll use a little bit. I know we don't really go over it much, but again, if you're in the program, sometimes they talk about that. But don't worry about it for tests because I review tests and I make corrections on stuff like that. All right. So anyway, I wish everybody well. I want everybody to make A's, although it rarely happens. But I really, truly want you to do well. So I'm here to help you. I will do what I can on email. Sometimes it's tough to do it on email. I try to find other ways. I might shoot you a YouTube video where I can explain, but I want you to be successful. So if you have questions, please shoot me an email. So move on to the second video. After you watch that second video, take your pretest, because if you don't, take it by August 21st, you're listed as a no-show. So, don't just log out and say goodbye for a week or two. So please get to work and stay on top of things. So we'll be talking to you soon.